Oh you are not going to believe what we got for you today. You're not. You're
Yeah,
not.
you're a really heavy duty Southwest flyer, so you must be really happy about
Yes,
this.
well, I don't fly Southwest a lot, but I mean, if I did, I mean, I sure would. Okay, it's Monday, October 16th, 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern time, as we come to you. 1:30 where Tommy is in Northern California, and 3:30 where I am in St. Paul, Minnesota, Central Time. And we've got really big news. I mean, I just can't believe we have positive news about an airline and their frequent flyer program. Keep in mind, we're coming to you Monday, October 16th, 2023. So if you're reading this 2 years, watching this 2 years later, this is ancient history. So Tommy, you want to give them the good news? It's all good news, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in the first time in world history that a frequent flyer program. Usually they come out, oh, we have made some enhancements, and then there's like a couple of things that are kind of enhancements, and the rest of it is just, well, consumers are telling us that blah 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 blah, and and then the consumers go and they were like, what? We've never said anything of the sort. So for the first time in world history, we can announce here today that this is the first time an airline has ever come out and been truthful about there are only improvements. Could you believe it?
The only good news about the frequent flyer program run by
Southwest Rapid Rewards is what it's called.
Right.
So, and I think that this is we're going to analyze it in a little bit, but this is like, why are they doing this? This kind of is what my first question is. But if we were to go on the press release and see what they did. So for those who are not familiar with the Rapid Reward program, they're a modern type of loyalty program, and it has been based on every reward, and every earning has been based on money and spend and what kind of ticket you have and things like that for a long time. And it has been, some people find it useful, other people don't. And, Southwest, what they don't have is the negative of Southwest. They don't have a international redemption opportunity. So it's limited to who you can go to. They're not a part of an alliance and things like that. But if you travel a lot, they are the largest domestic flyer in the U.S. With before the pandemic, they had the most number of flights. So that's obviously, it's a big carrier. It's a big deal with how many planes do they have? Like 800, 900 or something like that, 737s?
And you can fly them to Mexico and stuff, right?
You can fly them to Mexico and various beach destinations for sure. But here are the way that it usually. So let's talk a little bit about the changes that they've done first before we go into talking about that. So they're now offering cash and points, which is something that various carriers have been offering for a while. I do, however, think, without knowing, I hope that they're doing this as a partial payment. So the currency has the same value as it has, meaning that if you have a limited number of Rapid Rewards points, it might be a constant value of the currency, rather than having Delta or the other big guys who are kind of making cash and points stuff into something that is not a reasonable value. If you know what I mean. So that's a beautiful thing. That comes from spring 2024. So we're not going to see that from January 1st. But have you ever used that feature before?
I've used cash and points maybe once in my life on Delta. I don't know when or why I did it or whether it made sense. But the newness of this is that until this announcement, which I guess begins, as you say, in the spring about cash and points, is the only way you could redeem an award ticket on Southwest was using points, right?
Correct.
Now you can mix and match. Okay,
yes,
great.
You can mix and match, and if they do it the same way that Norwegian does it, Norwegian Air, they have a system. It's the same kind of proprietary thing. They only for Rapid Rewards points you can only redeem on Southwest. Same thing with Norwegian. You could also redeem only on Norwegian. So hopefully it's like that. We'll have to wait and see. But that's a beautiful thing. If you don't have enough points. A Southwest Rapid Rewards currency is a currency I always try and drop it as fast as I can, because to get it out of there, because the structure is set. There's no good value to be had. It's not like here's a sail to Europe on X carrier, right? That doesn't exist.
Right.
Okay. So the second thing, contrary to Delta, now in order to get top tier with Delta, you need to spend $350,000 in order to get to you're happy about that, right?
On your Delta credit card. Well, that's just a good month for me, So Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, you don't have to spend that much money, but spending your way to top tier status with Southwest became a lot cheaper. It was outrageous, and now it is. I wouldn't say this. We can quickly do the math on that. So it is, every $5,000 you spend on one of their credit cards, you get 15,000 tier rewards points, which means that in reality. If we say that you get 3,000 for 3,000 points for every $10,000 spent, you still have to spend $35,000 in order to get yourself up to, which I probably wouldn't recommend doing that because it's not that good of an earning on those credit cards. The Southwest credit cards are better because of the benefits that you get with it. Spending money on those cards is not really something that I would recommend doing.
And by the by the way, that what was I going to say about that? That's putting $35,000 of anything on your credit card, right? It doesn't have to be
correct. Just spending their card, using their cards.
Good. Okay.
So let's make sure that we do the math correctly here. Every $10,000, you get 3,000 tier points, right?
Okay.
35,000 is the requirement to get A-list status. So you need to spend $35,000 on the card, or $70,000 in order to get to the top tier.
Right, so, in a minute, we'll tell people what's on the A list and what's up.
So we'll go through that, what's included with the status, because it all of a sudden becomes more attainable for people. So here's the thing that kind of baffles me a little bit. So they usually, the classic way of doing things, when United had silver status or has silver status, when United had gold status, it was always 25,000 to get silver, 50 to get gold, right? That was the kind of the tiers that you had for the two mid and low tiers. Same goes with Delta. It used to be Delta Silver was 25 flights or 50 if you wanted to get gold. That was kind of the norm for it. Here, Southwest is doing, and Southwest followed. They had 25 flights to get A-list status, and then you needed 50 in order to get A-list preferred. They have now lowered it to 20 and 40 one-way flights in order to qualify. Why do you think that is?
I think they're poking Delta and everybody else in the eye for one thing, but I don't know why they would lower it. I mean, this is unheard of. Nobody ever.
I honestly, American dramatically changed their program, as we know. But at the end of the day, we still see somebody reducing the qualification requirements. To me,
right.
Can't remember the last time, if ever, I've ever seen anybody do this. So very consumer friendly, and like you said, I think you're right. They're poaching the other carriers.
Right.
So for those who've flown Southwest, the only thing you can purchase on board a Southwest flight is premium drinks. You can buy, a gin and tonic or a beer or wine or things like that. And you get 2 of them for each flight now as A-list preferred.
But we haven't gone through the qualifications for A-list preferred yet.
Yeah, so it's 40. It used to be 50. So yeah, here you go. 25 used to be for A-list, and for A-list preferred it used to be 50 flights. It is now 20 and 40.
If you fly Southwest a lot, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, to get to A-list, it's 12 and a half round trips, 12 round trips and another one leg.
Yes, 10 round trips now. So if I do a day trip down to LA, which I do a lot, I think this so far this year, I think I have 14 flights total. Yeah. And I know I have, I'm going to Dallas to meet up, actually meeting with Southwest in a few weeks. I'm taking them there. I'm taking a flight from Atlanta up to DC. That's 16 flights, and then I got 2 round trips. So I would have made it. I probably won't make it this year, but I would have made it if it was 20.
And these start the first of the new year, right?
Correct. January 1st for both of these changes, including, I guess, the premium free drinks starts on 11/6. So download the app and get your free drinks in there if you are A-list preferred. That's pretty cool. So let's talk about what you actually get from this. And before we actually get what the perks are, when we talk about priority boarding. So for those who don't fly Southwest, I live in a fortress hub for Southwest, Sacramento. I live out. That's the closest airport to my house, and 56% of the flights out of here are on Southwest.
So here's what you get now, right? This is what you're getting now, not the new one.
This is what you're getting now. Correct. These are that's what's coming. This is what you get with your status. So when you board with Southwest, you don't have a seat number, right? You have 3 different groups. You have A, B, and C. And the planes that they have a 737-700, or they have a 737-800, or a 737 MAX 8. Those are the 2 airplanes that they have.
Great.
So when you board, there is the A group where you have A 1 through 15, which I always buy, or I use a credit card that has that perk. Southwest has multiple credit card that has that the business select is what it's called, which is the group that's A1 through 15. Those are the first to board.
You're the group of the first 15 to board, and you're number 1 if you happen to get in line first. Otherwise, you're
no. You get a number. You get a number through 1 through 15. You never been on Southwest?
Yeah, but it's been a while. I forgot that they gave you a number. I thought you just
so it's 8 from 1 through 15, and that's the what's called Business Select. And Business Select already has a free drink, and it also has some other benefits that you get. You earn a ton of points when you get on that list. And the difference between the 2 isn't really that much. But at the end of the day, you're still there is a pre-boarding group. So for somebody that's handicapped or needs more time, or if it's an old lady with a cane, we with the term that we all known as Jetway Jesus. You have, in order to board first, you go and you only have to say, hey, my foot hurts, or whatever, something like that, or whatever that kind of good thing goes with, right? And when you go on board, and then with a wheelchair or whatever, but all of a sudden, when you are at your destination, you're the first out of your seats in row 1 to get off the plane, right? So that's what Jetway Jesus is. So there is a pre-boarding group, and sometimes on Southwest it can be substantial. So those guys go first, and then it's 8 through 1 through 15, which there is, if you have an American Express Platinum card, or you have if you have a Southwest credit card, you can get those pre-boarding stuff happening for you fairly easily, right? I do that all the time, and I have one of my Amex card I have set to getting the travel credit to get those back. So I pay for those upgrades every time, and I don't really pay for it. It's a part of my annual fee for my credit cards. Or on Melinda has the Premier, or not, what is it called? Some fancy credit card on Southwest. So after that, the boarding group is, then you do 15 through 30, and then 30 through 60. So when you get to A60, that means that 60 people plus pre-boarding has boarded ahead of you. If you have status with Southwest, you have the ability to board then. So 60 people would have boarded at least in front of you, or maybe the A through 15 is not completely sold out. So I would say about 60 people boards first, and then you get to board. If you have an A-list or A-list preferred, you're usually high up on the list anyways. But if you change your flight, or you're late to the airport and you forgot to check in, and you don't want to be if you want to be a cheapskate and not spring for the super easy upgrades, you can board after Group A is done. So 60 people technically in front of you. And then, B and C. So that's what priority boarding means on Southwest. It means that, you're not going to get the priority boarding that you're usually used to at an airline. But if you are a Southwest frequent flyer, you know how to get up there anyways. Right. And then what else do you get? As A-list, you get 25% more qualifying flights.
Yeah, 25% bonus, or 100%.
Bonus, so you get that's the old way that they always had back in the day. With United, before United, Delta, and American, or the terrible 3, as I like to call them, they used to have a 25% earning for the entry level tiers, and 100% for mid tiers and up. So that's where that comes from, and still in play to this day. So in reality, as A-list prefer, you get double the miles, which is really a rare thing that happens right now. You get when you are a basic member on the other guys, you get from 5 points per dollar spent, and then up to whatever. So it's based on money, right? Here it's technically also based on money here, but it comes down to the number of points, not the money you've spent. So yeah, if you have a more expensive ticket, you can make out like a bandit on Southwest and earn 10, 15,000 miles still per flight.
Right.
Same day change, which is a big one, and also same day standby. Southwest has various tickets that allows you to stand by and change your ticket any day. But here's the kicker, though. Here it is. You don't have to pay for that. You can be on the cheapest ticket there is, including mileage tickets, and change the same day without paying the fare difference, which is a beautiful thing. On the other carriers, there are various rules. It depends on which one it is, and it depends on what status you have. And here it is absolutely free. There's also a way out of this. They have these new fares. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. But we have these new fares where you can, for very little money, also have that perk. But here it is free. Okay, you have priority check-in and security lane access, of course, and the dedicated phone line. So the difference between A-list and A-list preferred is that you get free internet on board and you get 100% instead of 25% bonus when flying. Those are the two major differences between the two.
Okay, that's all good. And they didn't tighten up on any of those things.
No, I find it interesting. I know I haven't looked at the traffic numbers for Southwest lately, if they're struggling more than the other guys. I know that right now it's going to be a tough winter for everybody. We know that demand is dropping. I was just and seeing how the finances are dropping. I mean, in the area I live in an area of California that's bursting at the seams. We've had people move from the Bay Area, from very expensive houses in like Palo Alto and San Jose. You know, the neighbors a few houses down. He went from a 1,600 square foot split level asbestos house from 1955 in San Jose that he sold for a couple $1 million to here, where he got twice the size of his house and is loving it here. And a lot of demand for a lot of things because there's so many people. There are 1,800 new houses built around me since we moved in our new house, and that's a lot for single family houses.
Right.
And it's been. We had a guy, everything has been super expensive because it has just, the economy has been good the last few years. And we've had a guy who comes to our house and does like handyman stuff. And a friend of Melinda's mom, who used to work at the same school as where she was a first grade teacher for many, many years. And he was like, well, I don't have time. He was really flaky. I have to raise my prices, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And he was very hard to get a hold of. And on Wednesday this week, guess what happened? He called me. Hey, Tommy, do you have any work for me? For the first. So I said, I've learned how to change the light bulbs myself now. So I don't really need you anymore. I was just pulling his leg, and he was like, no, we're back to the same pricing as we used to be before the crazy demand in the area was. So I think it'll be a rough winter for airlines. I think it'll be a rough winter. Finally the hotels are going to have to be scaling back, and finally they're going to have to deliver the service that they say that they're going to deliver for the hotels. So we have to read a little bit into what's actually happening with Southwest, but I don't know. It feels to me like the gravy train is now done with.
Well, we're still waiting for the CEO of Delta Airlines, Ed Bastian, to find out how as he promised to backpedal a little on the last few weeks ago announcement of how they devalued the Delta frequent flyer thing. So I wonder what he's thinking, looking at Southwest, making theirs more valuable.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I think that this is an unexpected move for everybody. I sure as hell, I'm considering myself to being a fairly guy who's fairly up to speed on things. But
who would have guessed? Nobody would have guessed.
I don't think I've ever seen this happening before. Looking at I just wanted to look at the various fares that they have. So here are the fares that Southwest has and what they offer. So the Want to Get Away fare is the one I usually buy that because
the cheapest, right? Yeah, the cheapest.
You get Southwest has always had the benefit that if you don't want to go, before the pandemic, if you don't want to go, if you don't have time, your plans change, you get all that money as a credit back. Right? Mm-hmm. There was no $200 change fees. If you wanted to change the same day, they'll take a difference in fare. But that has been the norm there forever. 2 check bags are free. They have never changed that, and they haven't changed that either. That's a new thing that the other carriers came up with during the pandemic. They have another fare, though, that's fairly new called Want to Get Away Plus. And the difference between that is, yeah, I actually see here, look at that. For the Want to Get Away, you can stand by for free.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yep.
And then, so it says, add your name to the list, taxes and fees may apply. And I assume that probably has to do if you have to do a connection, there might be more airport taxes included with your new
and that's
flight.
same day stamp, by the way.
Right. But so if I, for example, am flying from here to Dallas and I missed a nonstop flight and I want to stay, or I want to go earlier, and there's one flight that cancels or it connects in Vegas, there will be more taxes applicable. I don't think there are any other fees than that.
Right.
But here, free same day change is the Want to Get Away difference. And also you can transfer your flight credit to other members. So meaning if you cancel a flight, if I cancel a flight and Melinda is going somewhere and she's need to go with her mom or a sister or whatever, I can transfer the thing. And so it's 6X to 8X, right? Yep. And then you have the Anytime one. And Anytime one, if you're there, really, you get the early bird included, which means early bird on Southwest means that it will check you in automatically in advance, but it doesn't guarantee where on the list you'll be. I mean, I've done early bird checking and gotten on the B list. Yeah. And then, of course, Business Select is a 12X. It's the double of what you get. So 12X plus double if you're preferred, if you have your Rapid Rewards A-list preferred status, you'll have 24X, right? That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So those are the various. And if you look at there really isn't the difference in fare. Like this is right before. If we were to look a little bit out in the periphery on a little bit in the future, you can see what the fare difference is. So 139 to 154. So the difference between the two is like $10 to $20 to $30 is usually what it is between the Want to Get Away and Want to Get Away Plus. I don't see any reason. So you see how many points you earn, 641 versus 966 for $139 ticket between here and LA. So I personally, if you have status on Southwest, I would not pay the difference between the two, even if it's only $15, because I don't think the value is there for 150 points, right?
Right. Okay.
So with the status, you don't even have to anymore. And I think that's great. Yeah. That's what the changes with Southwest is today.
All good news. All good news. As I say, Ed Bastian and Delta must be going, wait a minute. How come we just devalued ours like everybody else did, and Southwest is increasing the value? It's a poke in the eye. And lucky for all Southwest flyers. And I will default a little more to Southwest because I can't
I think that for the shorter flights, Southwest is better legroom than anybody else throughout the whole plane. There's no difference in that. If you can stomach sitting with other people, or if you want to stand hand in hand on that upgrade list, of course, that might be a good thing for you. But I think at the end of the day, you use the priority pass lounges, you use the Centurion lounge and all that stuff. It really isn't. It's a brilliant product. And when you look at the list that I showed you just now, Southwest has between where I live and Los Angeles, they have about 30 flights a day.
Yep. That's
so
great.
They fly from here to LAX, they fly to Burbank, they fly to Ontario, then fly to Long Beach. So anywhere you go in LA, you can do that. They fly a couple times a day to Santa Barbara. And as a comparison, on Saturdays, United doesn't fly at all between here and LA, which is supposedly a focus market for them. And American has one or two flights a day. United has one or two flights, which never works for me. So when I come over, when I fly overseas, because there's no transatlantic flights or trans-Pacific flights, there's no intercontinental flights from Sacramento at all. I always go down to LA because it's better than sitting in traffic to San Francisco. So I buy a $39 fare to LA, and then I fly from there to Europe. So when I come back, I looked at I could have booked a free flight on United on American when Melinda and I came back to go to Sacramento as a continuing flight. But we landed at 5, and the next American flight was like at 10 p.m. And between on LAX, Southwest had 4 flights between then. So it's just in the markets where they're strong and where the flights are short, the people that work there are happy. It is fun to fly, and it's a great product. And I don't have to tell More than half of Americans know this. It is by far the largest carrier on domestic flights. So I don't think if they caught up, they had a harder time coming back from the pandemic. But before the pandemic, it was the passenger's choice and the most flown domestic carrier.
Well, they don't charge you for your bag when you check it. So
two check bags are free up to 50 pounds, and it makes it a much more compelling for people who don't fly that much.
All right. Okay, keep in mind, we're coming to you Monday, October 16th, 2023, with the big news that Southwest has actually put out new rules for its frequent flyer program that actually got better for passengers. That's the radical thing.
Yeah, so I also, just before we go, I hope that there's one comment from Facebook, a couple of other ones that we're going to skip those, but one comment, I hope Southwest IT holds up this winter. That is a valid point. Valid. I know that they're working on improving their stuff, and they've done a lot of changes to it already, but legacy airlines systems are tough to work with. So, yes, I hope that Southwest IT holds up this winter as well.
Right. All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.